Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to the opening of live AI tournament in energy trading. Before that, let me just check whether the connection is going well. Let me just check. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, right? I think I posted the Telegram link as well. No, sorry, the Pigeonhole link, so you can post it there for now. Just give me a second just to check whether it works correctly. Okay. So yeah, we are officially live. So welcome to all of you. My name is Christian from AI for Impact, and this is Arnold, our
Hi
data
guys.
science lead and mentor as well, who will be mentoring you along the journey. So yeah, I think I understand that a lot of you can't make it on this session. So don't worry, it's recorded. But if you have any questions, please let us know, and you can actually post it on the Pigeonhole as well. So let me just, I think I'll just upload the presentation here just for a moment. So yeah, some admin matters. If you have any questions, right, just post it on this link. You can also scan the QR code below. I'll give you 5 seconds just to process this up. Make sure that all of you ask your questions on the Pigeonhole, so we can actually also you can actually vote as well which question is most important. Oh, okay. The Pigeonhole apparently is still not 4 p.m. yet, according to the Pigeonhole. So you can just wait for a while. Starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, so now you can ask questions right now. So if you guys any question, just post it on the Pigeonhole. Then we'll actually have a look at it and then answer your questions accordingly. But yeah, let me just repeat it again. Welcome to live AI tournament, wind forecasting for energy trading. So this is the tournament that we run actually based on what the Datathon we ran previously last month with over like 450 students, and a lot of them like the Datathon as well. This is like, according to them, this is a first tournament, right, where you can actually deploy your deep learning model against live data. So your results actually changes given the new data sets, wind data sets in France. So yeah, hope you enjoy it, and if you have any question, just let me know. So just a bit introduction about what we do, right? What about AI for Impact as well. So the reason why we organize this tournament, right, is to make sure that we are able to help everyone and kickstart their learning journey in AI. And to be honest, like we kickstart like AI for Impact because of the GPU unit you see in the picture right now. So we were thinking on how can we make use of this idle compute resources, right? And what is the best way for us to actually contribute to the society. So we realized that a lot of people wants to jumpstart into AI in terms of career or in terms of want to learn new knowledge, right? But I think right now AI is, I mean, as a knowledge itself, seems to be like not so accessible to people, especially those beyond outside math and IT background. So what we do since 2017 is to train like up to 2,000 students. In fact, during the COVID period, right, we managed to reach like more than 900 students in terms of teaching them basic skills on AI. And this is where the learn comes in. We also organize a Datathon. This is one of the event that we do. But what we want to do is that we want to connect you to apply what you've learned into solving real-world problems. So the first one that we have is with NUS, National University of Singapore, and we were tasked to actually come up with an AI model that can predict dengue in Singapore. So now dengue is uptime high. So I hope that like the solutions developed by our students, right, can actually like play a part in terms of accelerating the research on AI applications in dengue. The other one also like we also explore like chatbot applications to help people stay at home. The other one also we explore like predicting energy demand in in a building basically. So that one actually is from Schneider data sets, and we try to expose these real world projects to the students who are also like trying to learn AI, because we believe that this is the right way for you to learn. So you can actually like straight away identify the loopholes or some kind of like area of focus if you want to apply AI techniques in real world situation. And so far, like our students have developed 350 plus applications. Of course, like one is dengue forecasting as well. In fact, like one of our students actually talked to actually pitch their AI models to government agency as well. So they are actually working on it right now. How to optimize energy, how to save environment using AI, right? So this is one application as well. How do you predict basically system failure in solar panel? This is also what we do as well. How do you predict typhoon as well using AI? So this is what we've been doing, and we work with, of course, with a lot of student clubs and a lot of universities, because we see that you guys actually are the talent of the future, right? And we hope to enable as many people as possible, whether you are from math, you are from economics, you are from life science, you are from business, you are from engineering. I think AI will be very important to skills to learn in the next 5 years time, and we hope you can apply that knowledge right into your own specific domain. So in fact, a lot of our winners are also not from IT and math background. They're all from different domains like life science, business, finance, who are trying to apply AI to solve their own specific problems. So about the live AI tournament, right? So what is the challenge right now, and what will you build from now to 29th of August? So I think you've seen the descriptions, right? Your role right now is an energy trader, basically. So in wind energy landscape, right? Or in other like energy sectors as well overall, right? If you want to do energy trading, there are always two players at least. The first one is energy producer. In this case, is an actual wind farm in France region. So they keep on generating data on the live basis even right now. So every hour we are collecting data from this wind farm. But the other one is a grid operator, which is energy consumers. They are the one who connect the energy source right to the consumers as well, households, government building, commercial buildings, and also like critical resources as well, like your electricity as well, and also your water sources as well, because it's all powered by energy, right? So on one hand, energy producers, if you want to rely on wind, right, the supply is energy produced is very unstable. At the same time, like unstable energy production is not good for us, right, as a modern society, because even like right now, every day we need energy, right? Without good supply of energy, I can't even do this presentation to you guys. So stable energy consumption is very, 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 very important. And this is where your role as energy traders, right, are very important, not just in terms of making money, not just in terms of making profit, but in terms of delivering outcome as well, delivering like social impact. So as you know, you as energy traders buy energy from energy producers. And then you as energy traders also sell energy to your grid operators. Grid operators want stable energy consumptions. The producers have unstable energy consumption and production. So this is your role as an energy trader to make sure that you can actually supply ensure energy supply to your grid operator. The question is this: that energy is being produced by the energy productions, right? And sometimes what you have to do is that sometimes the energy productions can go up and go down. And your role is that, how can I make sure that our grid operators are always informed on what energy output that the energy producer can produce at given amount of time, so they can actually maintain the energy distributions, at least manage the service level of energy distribution to the consumers. So right now, as an energy trader, you have to forecast energy production ahead. The purpose is so that the grid operators know how much you will produce at given in the future, and they can give you your so-called expect the right level of energy productions, and for the energy producers as well to have some kind of benchmark on the amount of energy they have to produce. But the problem is that when the energy producers are when energy producers are producing the same amount that the energy that you mentioned on the contract, nothing wrong. Basically, you buy the X amount of energy and you sell X amount of energy at the sufficient level, right? No one is complaining about it. But what happened when the energy product, when you are over forecasting, basically, when you are under forecasting, that means that you say that I say to the grid operator that I will produce this X amount, let's say 1,000, right? But the problem is that the energy producers, right, you under forecast the T plus 18 hours, the energy production is actually 1,500. So what happens at that time? That means that your under forecast makes your energy producer client as well lose profit, because 500 amount of energy are not being used. But what happens when you over forecast? When you over forecast, basically, right, let's say you say grid operator, T plus 18 hours, my client will produce 1,000, 2,000. But as a matter of fact, your energy producer, at that T plus 18 can only produce 1,500. So that means that there's 500 shortage of energy. Will you allow that? No, you will not allow that to happen, because that means that you will be penalized severely by the government because you are not able to supply the right energy. There will be blackout at at certain part of the region. So what happens? You buy you source of secondary energy market you buy energy from the secondary energy market at the spot price. But in any situations, your spot price will always be more expensive than your energy contract to your grid operators. So basically, right now, this is an AI forecasting challenge. But this is what is happening. We want to put context on AI forecasting in real life. If you under forecast, that means that your energy producer are actually, if their energy producer is producing higher than your forecast, waste of energy. If you over forecast, you need to buy for secondary energy market. So your challenge right now is produce as precise as possible an accurate forecasting algorithm based on neural networks or deep learning. But we want you to think a bit deeper, which means that you don't just do accurate energy forecasting, but you have to strategize your own forecast as well, so that you are always making as many profit as possible. Some of our past participants, right? Because this one is the same challenge that we throw on the previous Datathon, right? Some of our participants purposely under forecast or purposely forecasting at this amount of level because they think that they can generate as much amount of energy as possible. So don't just aim. The lesson learned is that don't just aim for accurate forecast. You have to really understand about your clients. In this case, is grid operators and energy producers. You have to understand your client so that in the end, you as energy traders can deliver the maximum amount of outcome as possible. Is most accurate, is aiming for highest accuracy the right solutions? I'll leave it for you to decide, because this is where you can taste yourself, like how the trading, how your profit will go up and down. And this is what it looks like in the. Okay, before that, Arnold, do you have any comments on this?
No, I think you've summarized it very well. We won't actually tackle this problem at the very start because it's too complex. So at the very start, we'll actually expose you to simpler problems. We'll teach you the techniques. And then I think there is also a midterm kind of thing, right? So you need to submit some assignments, at least one assignment, which we will actually grade for you, so you can see where you stand in terms of your analysis and other stuff. And then finally, you'll be given this problem set, which you can tackle. Okay.
Right. Okay. I think there's a question from the audience. Like, what led to the what makes us like select this wind forecasting as a topic of this challenge? So,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Well, there are several factors that we considered, right? So we obviously want to do a forecasting problem because forecasting, I think, is not really so much discussed in AI or data science. We ourselves have a good background in forecasting. Our company actually does weather forecasting, to be honest, and we've been doing this for actually many years. So the material that we have is really focused on some kind of forecasting. We originally thought about actually forecasting stock prices or commodities, for example. And that would be, I think, a little more interesting, but I think harder to compress within a short time frame. So when you're talking about, let's say, commodities or stock price, price forecasting, the techniques you need to bring to bear are more advanced, and it's actually much harder to actually work with those kinds of data sets. Plus, the data sets themselves are proprietary. So we were thinking, okay, look, we want a situation where the data sets were not proprietary, and actually it's slightly easier, but still realistic. It has to be something that's real time, something that's coming in all the time, right? So that it is actually grounded in reality. Okay, it's not a fake data set. It's not a dead data set either. I think there are other actually competition websites where you can go and the data set is not live. Whereas our focus is really trying to do live competitions with live tournaments. And I think this gives you a better feel of what it's going to be like in the real world. It's very easy to fool yourself that something works when the data set is dead. But if the data set is live, it's much harder to make those kinds of mistakes. And you'd see it actually in your forecast as well. So that's why. So we chose the problem set for a few reasons. Number one is we can get live data for this. Number two, it's a forecasting problem, obviously. Number three, it is the data can be shared. So in other words, we can actually process it and actually share it with all of you as well. Whereas with a lot of financial data sets or other data sets, they are proprietary. They cannot be shared. Okay. So, and lastly, of course, we feel that it is something that you can actually really learn something from. And it's very applicable because these kinds of forecasting problems that you face in the challenge actually occur. A lot of the challenges you face in making these kinds of forecasts will occur in many different industries, not just in energy trading. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. So just to add on Arnold's point as well, like the applicability of the techniques that you learn and the experience that you will feel later on when dealing with real live data, right, is actually like simulated quite extensively at any other industries. If you say you are working in a manufacturing plant, right, and you are a demand planner, you want to also like ensure that your forecast, right, is able to actually like consistently like forecast the demand or the supply of each spare parts like correctly. And to deploy your forecasting system against dead data or historical data that's happening like 5 years ago, it might not be relevant as when you are actually deploying in real life. So this is where we want to help you experience how does it feel like to actually like deploy your own like live system, because when you do that, you see that actually like you have to update your forecast every single day, and you see the importance of even like tweaking your forecast models on a on a daily basis, so that sometimes like the winning teams are the one who are continuously like reviewing the forecast models, how it performs in real life, and then tweaking it on a regular basis. So we want you to have that experience on how actual like forecast models is being operated in a professional setup. Okay, so yeah, we move on.
Yes.
Okay, so as you mentioned, right? This is we just refreshed the new leaderboard. This is actually like the leaderboard that we have from our past teams, right?
Yeah, but it's not really refreshed yet. We'll probably be refreshing it shortly, and again when the competition starts, right?
Yeah,
So this is just a test run actually. So
yeah,
these are some of the previous teams on the previous championship, and this is a test run. We're actually making some changes and tweaks, and we get this leaderboard.
yeah,
It is not the final one. We'll probably be do another refresh today or tomorrow.
yeah. But having said that, this one also is actually based on updated data. Basically, what the data feed that we receive from France, right? Every 1 hour, right, Arnold?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the profits are real and the algorithms like made also like are activated. This is a deployment stage, so you will face this like fluctuation in terms of like ranking as well, which is very 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 fun. This is what all of our participants say. This is fun because like the leaderboard keeps changing every hour, right? So you feel that as well during the deployment stage. So what will be your journey, right? I think this is already mentioned on the website, but let me just highlight to you a bit further, because we feel that like learning is not just like stopping at learning concepts. You have to build it. You have to see how your algorithm make changes, right? Make impact in real life scenario, right? How can generate like actual money? How can generate real profit or make loss, right? And then also like at the end of the day, you have to present your cases, right? The top team will present their cases to the judges, basically to the industry experts who have already like experience in this domain. So learning starts today, and I think you already received the basic turning videos, and I think you also have received the Telegram group link as well. This is a mentorship group, so for those of you who have not been there, please join the Telegram group, because to be honest, like we actually like the training videos can be applicable, can be general, but the mentorship is where you actually learn more, and you can ask questions, how you are able to strengthen the concepts, and how can you able to relate the concept you learn into like building live broadcasting system. So don't underestimate the Telegram group. Ask questions if you have any question. Ask questions if you have any. Don't get yourself confused and then stew it for so long time. There's a forum link as well on the Google Groups. This is where you can post your technical questions, and also if you have any questions about about the platform, or about if you have encountered any issues. And also, this is something new that this is just implemented for you guys. We are actually like calling back the previous champions of deep learning Datathon to become your student mentors. So we are now still arranging the logistics for that. So in this week, you will get actually assigned a student mentor, right, from our previous champions, right, who can actually mentor you like very closely on how you are able to build a successful like deep learning model like they do. And of course, you have a milestone. So your task by 16th of August is that we need to test your understanding. And by that time, you need to create a 5-minute presentation about your energy demand forecasting model. So this is under lab 2 of the of your labs, basically, of your AutoCAD like exercises. So whether you are not using AutoCAD or not using AutoCAD, we need to test your understanding, because before we send you at more advanced videos, we want to make sure that you already learn the basics. So it's very, very important for you to submit the 5-minute presentations. It's a 5-minute presentation, so don't go more than 5 minutes. It's just to test your understanding. After that, during the build stage, you more or less will be prepared to actually learn more advanced materials. So once you actually submit your energy demand forecasting model from lab 2, you will actually send you the 4 videos on advanced deep learning techniques. So this is like, we cover like 4 techniques, input scaling, and also like, what else out? You want to share a bit more?
Well, for in the second half, so in we divide the learning into 2 parts, right? So there's the so-called beginners, the fundamentals, right? For applying what is ML and how do you apply it into forecasting specifically, and forecasting specific gotchas that you should look at, right? So we do that early on. So this is the next 5 days, and of course on day 6, which is the 16th, you're supposed to actually work on a small project in your teams and submit per team a little video. The purpose is for you to get your teams to gel and for you to actually work on a, I would say, an interesting and actually widely occurring kind of problem. Okay, it is actually energy demand, not energy production like how we're doing for the challenge, but energy demand forecasting. Okay, so it should be fairly easy to solve. Then if you submit your video, then we allow you to go to the second stage of videos, which is more advanced techniques. So these are not, I think it's 5 videos, right, altogether.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
five.
Sorry. There's a
Okay,
typo. Yeah, there's a 5
so
videos. Yeah.
it's 5 videos altogether for part 2, and these show you more advanced techniques which are very useful for forecasting specifically. Okay, and we also release other stuff like the judging criteria and so on. And you have a few days to actually play around with these more advanced techniques for yourself to see whether you can apply them to your previous uh, challenge. Okay, and I think we start the actual work on the 22nd of August. So from the 22nd to 26th is when you start to work on your model. I think we also released on, sorry, I'm sorry, on the 16th we released the task, right? Or was it the 21st?
Right. So the task will be released at 19th of August. The data sets of the challenge statement.
Yes.
So we want you to actually focus on the learning advanced deep learning techniques first. The reason is because, like, the techniques are very useful. So we see like a fast improvements, right, for the teams who have managed to apply the techniques well. But having said that, you need to have the basics right, because we don't want you to jump into like advanced technique without the strong basics. So those who
Yeah.
apply the techniques really well are those who have a very strong fundamentals, basically fundamental concepts, like, yeah. So
I think, yeah, just a word of warning, okay, because we see many groups so far. And I think the best groups are those who actually review all the videos carefully, they understand and digest the materials, and then they go on to just apply the materials in their work. It's very simple, right? The groups who don't perform so well are those who already, sometimes, if you already have a background in ML especially, you might think that this is an easy thing to do, but it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. Forecasting is quite different from image recognition or classification. And the way you do things, some of the basic things are actually quite different, right? And there's a reason behind all of those things. They are actually explained in the videos. And also, I think, fleshed out in our discussion in the Telegram group. What you shouldn't be doing is to just forget about the videos or skip through them or skim through them and then just try to attempt the problems. The early problems that we give, we released the one on the 16th and so on, they're all very simple problems. But for the challenge, obviously, it's much more challenging. Otherwise, it'd be too easy for you guys, right? So for those, you definitely need to understand the materials a lot more. So don't skip the videos, okay? And try to apply the techniques in the videos. And if you have questions, don't be silent, just ask on the Telegram groups. We and the student mentors as well will try to answer all your questions, okay? So that's my word of advice to you guys. All right, Chris, on to you.
right. So at the end of the build, you will be required to. We will send you give you some instructions, and by that time, you will actually like publish your URL of your model, basically model results. So, but during impact stage, which is the most interesting part of this session, right, is that your models, right, will be actually used to trigger energy trades against live data. So between 22 and 22nd of August, you will receive we will send you a data feed from the energy farm in France. We don't
Okay.
know the
Can I just interrupt here a bit? So we actually
Yeah.
changed the format a little bit. So previously you had to submit a URL. We found that a lot of the contestants couldn't do this. So what we did instead is that we split into two groups. If you're using a Python type framework like TensorFlow or Keras or something like that, then we will provide you with a URL. And all you got to do is just to upload your results every hour onto that URL. If you're using AutoCAD to run the challenge, then you don't have to do anything. You can just publish your model and it will run automatically behind the scenes. Okay, so what you do is completely up to you. All right, but you don't have to publish any kind of URL. We will send you the URL on which you need to submit your trade results, your forecast results. Okay, all right.
Yep. So by that time, from 22nd to 26, you will trigger an actual trades and you'll accumulate profits. So the top five teams with the highest profits will be actually like invited to proceed to the finale. So basically, like but okay, the caveat is that during the impact stage, right, you are actually allowed to modify your models. So basically, like what makes it fun is that, like let's say you underperform, right, on the first days or the first 2 days, right? Then you want to update your models. You can do so actually like at any time during the impact stage. So this is for you to actually review. I mean, I think the purpose is for you to see how your model is actually performing in the real world, given live data sets, and for you to also like make some kind of adjustment feedback during that stage. And I think the best teams, right, the top 10 teams like in the past, right, was not necessarily the top 10 teams during the first 2 days. In fact, many of them are not. It's just that when because they modify the models like along the way, they manage to actually find out the patterns and then get the jump. I mean, beat the other like top tens to become the first one. And for this round, because we do have store our the model of our champions, right? But they're not updating it. You will be able to compete against the previous champions. So see whether you can actually beat our own like existing like July champion in this energy for. I mean, given the new data sets.
Yeah,
Uh,
but we also give them we give you guys a handicap as well, right? So the previous champions and the previous contestants, their models cannot be changed. So Chris is right. During the impact stage, you must change your model all the time, right? You need to retrain your models, you need to tweak your models, you need to test your models out with new data, and it's not easy. And this is where I think you will learn a lot in actually developing these kinds of online forecasting models. Okay, we will also put on the leaderboard itself the previous contestants, not all of them, but a lot of them, and but they're not allowed to change their models. So in other words, it's already pre-trained, and we freeze the training. They won't be allowed to retrain their models. Whereas you guys are actually encouraged to retrain your models. Okay, and those other teams will be clearly marked on the leaderboard. Okay, so you know who is who. Okay.
yeah. So I think also like this is to also to answer your question on like how good is good, right? So we have a so-called standard benchmark that you can use, a professional benchmark basically, quite uniformly generally used. But the biggest benchmark, the best benchmark actually is the benchmark of the previous solutions. So this is where you want to introduce this kind of benchmark, right? So you can also like have your own like assurance whether your models are good enough or not. And by 28th of August, I mean, for audit reasons as well, you need to submit a 5-minute presentation video, similar to the 16th August task, and also Medium articles about your AI models and approaches. So just keep in mind this entire thing, the entire task, right? It's not actually for us. In fact, like for us, actually, it's additional work for us as organizers, right, to evaluate your models, your results, basically. But why we do this? Because it's actually for you. A lot of even our previous contestants, right? Those who actually like wrote Medium articles, and what we do is that we ask them to publish also in their own like social media as well, like LinkedIn, Facebook. And what happened is that because right now you are typically you are the consumer of content. Now you are producer of content, and by that time, by impact stage, you are actually already building something that is already like non-trivial, a real life uh, deep learning based forecasting system for real life projects and real life data sets. So that is actually a huge achievement compared to maybe like many of your friends who are who might be still like learning data science, right? So we want you to have as many competitive edge as possible by allowing you to build your own portfolio, build some kind of evidence that you are already like capable. And this is, to be honest, like if you are or not from computer science or math background, right, this also gives you like additional edge over like the others to the employers in terms of getting some internship or career opportunities. Because I think a lot of employers have been like focusing on like math and computer science students to find out data science talent, right? But if you are somewhat able to showcase to them that, hey, I'm not from this domain, but this is my results, and my you can see my also my forecast models here, and this is how I do it. This is how you can get competitive edge over like others when it comes to getting career, right, in data science, whether it's internships or whether it's full-time. So that's why we want to emphasize on actually like you publishing like medium articles. And I think from our side we will also feature the best medium articles on our own publication as well, so at least employers notice you, and you might find also new friends who are keen to collaborate on the same projects down the line. Okay, so yeah. And the finale stage is actually when I think it's good for you to get results from your profits, get as much profit as possible. But I think also it's additional skills for you to present your case well to the panel of expert judges. So during the finale at 29th of August, the top 5 teams with the most profitable models will present your solutions, right, to the panel of expert judges we invited from the industries. The reason is for them to understand your thought process, and for you also to learn how these industry experts evaluate your own like models. So this is an important step for you if you want to if you want to start your own projects, or even like present your data science case to the industries, because what they care and their perspective of how good the model might is most likely different on your perspective as well. So this is where you can learn on how these industry experts evaluate forecasting model that you build. And the top 3 teams will stand a chance to become live AI tournament August champions. And we'll be running this like tournament like over and over again, so that like if you guys wants to keep your position up, feel free to join our next tournament as well. Anything to add, Arnold?
Not really. I think Chris is right about the videos and the medium articles and so on. It's really for you guys to. I'm sure all of you who join this Datathon are doing so because you want to actually either go into data science in a more serious way. Either you're working, you're trying to join something that's more serious, or let's say most of you are students and you want to take it more seriously as well. And I think promoting your abilities and promoting what you have done, I think it's an important first step of that. It helps you to get noticed. A lot of in fact, I think about 2 or 3 of our teams, some of the top teams who publish their articles on Medium have got them selected for towards data science. All right, so that's a not bad for first time person, right, coming and doing data science or ML, very first time, and then to get their first first article that they publish on Medium accepted into towards data science. I think that's an accomplishment, right? So we want you guys to have that as a first step as well, a good first step. Okay, so it's really it's what we hope that this Datathon will do. It's not just about the winning. Of course, winning is important, but it's really about building your career portfolio. It's about trying to get you to step into data science and ML, machine learning, a lot more in a more serious way. And it's also, of course, to get you to learn some of the techniques and some of the operational issues that you face when you're trying to apply ML to the real world. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe just to pause and ask, just address some question, right?
Yeah.
So is the aim right now is to predict energy demand and optimize energy purchase? No, the aim is actually to predict the energy production that the wind farm generate, because this is like your forecast will be a proxy for you to make a contract with the grid operators.
Yeah,
And
I just want to just clarify, because I'm sure on this slide here you can see energy demand. So I think the guy might be confused because of that, right? So in the project that we give you, the mini project for your team on the 16th, it's energy demand. It's a very simple project. It should be a walk in the park, all right? And it really helps us to identify weak teams. It helps to identify teams which are not doing so well, and also to encourage you if you have done well, okay? But for the challenge, it is about energy, wind energy production, not just any old energy, it's wind energy production in a certain part of France, okay?
okay, then the second one is like, how do our teams work together? We have the same account. I
What do you mean?
No, basically, I think like how what is the best way for the teams to work together? I think basically like each team like as I sent you an email, right? Each team has will send you like a different account for each teams. You might use, I mean, for the beginners, right, with no programming background, I think we highly encourage you to use AutoCAD. But having said that, it's not compulsory. If you are already like proficient in machine learning, if you already comfortable with certain tools, feel free to use other tools. But the best practice for working together as a team, which is a must if you are a team, right? If you have a team, you need to know how to work together best. The best practice is actually like to have different assumption and then work individually first to test that ideas. Then from then onward, each day or each period of time, you need to share your findings as well, because deep learning, right, or data science process is not just about building models, but also it's about pre-processing, feature engineering, and all that. So basically, like maybe I know you want to share a bit more on what's the best practice of working together as a team.
I think you need to have at least a single Telegram group by yourselves, right? So if let's say a group of 5 or 3 or after this, right? Get a Telegram group where you can communicate with each other regularly. You want to be able to post your results regularly as well, okay? And I think for the challenge part, what you want to do is to split up the tasks. So like one person does data cleaning, or let's say feature engineering. Another person does the maybe test jigs, okay? So that your models are tested out each time before they're being deployed. Another person does the modeling itself, tries different model, what is it called, architectures, okay, different loss functions, etc. Okay, so there's a lot for you to try out. I would suggest that at the start, of course, of the learning process, all of you shouldn't specialize. You must actually learn all of the techniques that are presented. But towards the end, you can start to specialize, because that's where you get most of the work done. Okay.
Okay. So yeah. Okay, does this mean that if I'm a champion for this tournament, I may be replaced by champions for the tournament for the next intake? I think the answer is no. The answer is like if you actually manage to become a champion this time, you get certificate of, I mean, a championship certificate as well for winning this round. But having said that, if let's say once you deploy your models, right, then because like same thing as what happening in the past, where our champion actually can maintain their models, but they not manage to they can't upload. I mean, they can't tweak it. The same thing will happen on the following months, basically. So you will still get the championship certificates, and I think you still become a champion. But this is just to just emphasize that we are going to run this as well, like not just this time, but for other round as well. Okay. Uh, how can I work with my team on the code on AutoCAD? Can I share my AutoCAD with my team and work on the code simultaneously with them?
You can, you can find ways of doing that. It's not hard.
Hmm. Yeah. So how many registers do we have this time? How many teams are we expecting? Right now, we have actually like 27 teams participating. So we still have a lot of signups though. Like, quite strange thing is that, like, the signups like suddenly like spikes up at the, even when the competition, after the competition starts, right? So we have more. So just we'll keep you updated down the line.
Yeah, we actually wanted to keep the number of contestants this round a bit small because we were trying to actually try out the student mentors. So we had too many teams, then we couldn't actually, reasonably have student mentors for so many teams. So I think right now 20 plus, 30, even 40 might be a good number.
Yeah, just to
And we
make sure that.
encourage you once you complete this, this tournament successfully, we encourage you also to become student mentors for the next round.
Okay. So maybe just to continue. So what you will learn, right? Of course, end-to-end deep learning pipeline, and end-to-end forecasting pipeline, right? Is takes a lot. It's not just one thing. It involves data preprocessing, feature engineering, neural networks, benchmarking, and evaluation. What we focus here is concepts. I think a concept's not just on one part of it, but from start to end. Because, like, in this case, right, for forecasting, it might not be just the neural networks that makes a difference in terms of improving your forecast quality. It can be on the previous process as well. So during this time, what you will learn is that you will learn the entire process on how you develop a forecasting system. So that includes also data preprocessing, feature engineering. You also learn that, like, because now you experiment. I hope you experiment with a lots of different configurations. You also like feel yourself that, like, sometimes if you have two big models, right, it will actually dampen your productivity, because you can't experiment with different numbers and your speed will be very low. So this is where, feature engineering, data pre-processing as well is important skills for you to learn. Another one is that we also teach you some benchmarking techniques on, like, the best practice that we have from the industries and how you evaluate your models. So loss is definitely one aspect, right? But it's not just loss that you need to measure, especially for time series forecasting. So we'll introduce you like various metrics that you have to really like take care of when building your deep learning models lah. A lot to learn and a lot to practice. That's why, like, for those of you who are still not in the group yet, please find a group. So at least, like, you can experiment with multiple techniques alone lah. You can learn together. It makes more fun that way.
Yeah, I would suggest a group of at least 3 people.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
in a group of 1 or 2, your chances of winning are not good. Okay. So try and form larger groups. So I think Chris has set up a matchmaking group already. I encourage you to go in there and find new members or join between groups if you want.
Yeah. So just introduce yourself and say, like, where you're from, and then, like, just like, what you hope to learn. Because, like, I think what the best team is actually those who have in same alignment in terms of, like, enthusiasm and also like learning objectives lah. So please introduce yourself, and if you introduce yourself, then it's most likely for the teams, right, to actually recruit you lah. Yeah. So it's very important for you. The first one is to join Telegram group and complete the assignments. To join the Telegram group is because, like, although you can learn a lot from the learning videos, sometimes, like, when you start applying it into for live data sets, right, there are lots of gaps, to be honest. You face a lot of problems, like, and it comes to, trying to apply the techniques, because especially for advanced techniques, right, there are a lot of delicacy that you have to pay attention for, to, like, corner cases where, where your models might fail, and this can be frustrating without the help of mentors, basically. So that's why we purposely, like, selectively invite the right mentors, not just mentor who finish this Datathon, but mentor who are champions. So they will actually, like, help you direct on terms of, like, help you understand the concepts, and more importantly, how to apply the concepts into practice. So I think for AutoCAD users, we make it as simple as possible. But having said that, you also have to be very disciplined in terms of, and very tight knit in terms of how you monitor the process as well. From data acquisition, making sure the columns are right, and also making sure that your data fit in right, actually makes sense. And these things can only happen through experience. And we want to accelerate the learning of your experience by introducing mentors. So the Telegram group, we expect to be very active, every day. As much as possible, don't try to Telegram us as around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I know some of you are actually like to work at night, but we also need to sleep in that sense. Keep the Telegram group active, during the office hour, from 9 to 6. And if you have any question, they say maybe 8 p.m., 9 p.m. max. So, but please ask a lot of questions, because this is a real world challenge. Don't expect this to be simple. I think that's basically like the message we want to voice out. It's exciting, it's fun, but it's not simple. Yeah. So please ask when you have any question. Complete the assignments. I think we spend Arnold and team has spent a lot of time to make sure that the
Yeah.
assignments are introduced at the right time and at the right place as well. So if you complete the assignments right, then it will help you also test your understanding as well, and it gives you also some avenue to ask the right questions. So please do these two very, very diligently. And we can't emphasize you this much. It might seem trivial right now, but these two will be the one that separate the champion team and the not champion team, just from these two. So yeah, you will not feel this right now, but you experience this along the journey. So please take these two carefully. If your friends are not in the Telegram group yet, please ask them to join Telegram group, because that is the source of your biggest source of learning, to be honest, beyond the learning videos. Yeah.
Yeah, just one thing. There are house rules for the Telegram group, right? Because it's a large group, including actually the previous people as well, right? Isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, the mentors will come
Yeah.
later on. Yeah.
So we are here to help you, okay? But we also want your respect as well. So ask questions respectfully, right? I think politeness it goes a long way for everyone, right? Because this will be a very packed, very challenging competition. I assure you. And I think nerves will fray when things don't go right. When you don't get an answer and so on, right? So we do want to encourage you, right? House rules are we have to be polite to each other. Okay.
Okay. Are the data set provided realistic or virtual? Is as real as
Yes,
possible.
realistic. Yeah.
It's directly from the machine, guys. It's
Yeah.
directly from the wind farm productions, and this is live data sets. That's why I think that's why the Datathon is exciting, because this is one of the very few opportunities, right, where we as organizers also spend lots of our time to make sure that this is as real as possible.
Okay. All the data sets that we deal with are all real data sets. So even
Yes.
for the projects, for the mini projects and etc., it's all real data. And we give you, I think, at least 3 different kinds of data sets. One for the temperature, SG temps
Singapore
forecast.
temperatures. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, another one which is the lab 2, which is the one that you have to do on the 16th. I mean, by the 16th. And of course, the challenge. They're all real data sets. Okay, there are no dead data sets. There are no fake data sets. There are no toy data sets either. We just throw you guys to the deep end. Okay, but you get to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. Don't expect clean data set as well. You have to do your
Yeah.
own data analysis to see identify the gaps. That's part of the learning, and we don't want to hide. We want to make it as real as possible. And even this is actually not as real; it's already real. So what you encounter here will be the similar thing as what you encounter for any forecasting problems. You need to do data analysis, identify the gaps in data sets, and make adjustment accordingly. So I will leave it out for you to explore on your own. You will face that. So be sure that you are active in Telegram group. So when you have any question, you can just ask us immediately. How to win? Like as what Arnold said, watch all the training videos more than once. Why we emphasize this? Because we find out that lots of we find a lot of questions actually, like us actually are covered in the videos. And number two, sometimes also, like when we explain, like our answer to other participants, right? That participants already have some kind of understanding on the concepts from the videos. So to make sure that you learn productively, and to make sure that you learn from the participants' questions, right? Please watch all the training videos. Make sure that you watch it more than once. Complete all the exercises in live instructions. I think I've already repeated this again, and Arnold already emphasized on this as well. Ask question on the Telegram and Google forum. So what separates Telegram and Google forum? If you have any, like, let's say if you have any technical question about, let's say, oh, I have this problem, I have this error, when I try to input these data sets, then it becomes like there's an error, right? We need to know, like where your error source are. So you need to snap take a snapshot on your code, right? Or even upload your code on the platform, and that one is better for you to do it on Google forum. Telegram is mainly for Telegram is mainly for conceptual question and for admin questions. So for conceptual questions, like where you need some kind of immediate reply, right? Then you can post it on Telegram. But for us to answer your technical question without looking at your code, I think it's hard. So for technical questions, please refer to the Google forum. For conceptual questions or admin questions, post it on Telegram. Yeah. Learn and work in the group. So again, this is not a simple challenge. It takes time for you to do well. I think you want to learn as a group rather than alone. So if you are still, like a single participant, just try to utilize the matchmaking group. I will help you trigger the discussions, but please be proactive in terms of, like introducing yourself and getting the group mates. We find that 70% of our members actually, of I mean, oh no, 70%, eight. I think around 80 to 90% of students actually find new friends throughout the matchmaking groups as well, matchmaking Telegram platform. So please be proactive, introduce yourself, and also, like make sure that you can appeal yourself to other people who are looking for group members. Yeah. So good luck. Let me just, like address some of the questions from the students. How do we submit the presentations? No worries, we'll send you the Google form for you to submit your presentation. But how it works is that you have to upload your presentation videos on YouTube, and then you submit the URL link on the Google form. I will send you the Google form later on. Is the coding experience required? Will it be taught in the training videos? Yes, for you to do your data science experiment, we'll teach you some of the techniques, but just bear in mind this is an AI tournament. Also partly the reason why we focus on use AutoCAD, because we want you to focus on the learning the concepts, which is much more applicable regardless of which tools you are using. And for those of you, like, understand that, like, because 85% of our participants, right, is always those with no programming background. So for you as well, like that's where the AutoCAD is for. But of course, if you are already comfortable using your own, like tools, please do that, because the important here is actually to learn the concepts and apply the concepts well on a live data sets, on a live problem as well. So we want you to be
I
very
would, yeah, I would actually be cautious about that, because the AutoCAD platform, we've actually done a lot to simplify work for the contestants, right? And if you want to use Python or some other thing, you can. That's nothing is stopping you. Okay. But what I find is that contestants who use Python, what happens is that they oftentimes end up with a lot of bugs in their code because it's the first time they're doing it. And so those bugs come out in the competition and it causes them not to do so well. Okay. In fact, the worst performing teams from the last Datathon were all Python teams. Not because they are bad people or they're bad this thing, but because of their bugs in their code, or perhaps they didn't really understand the technique so much, right? How you train them, how you train the models, etc. Right? So I think it's personally, I feel especially if you're starting off, if you only just know Python or something, you're not really familiar with how to use any one of those frameworks, I would suggest please use AutoCAD because it is simple and it will actually give you a chance of winning. Okay, you can choose to disregard my advice. It's really up to you. But this is our observation looking back in the past, right? Those teams in which I think only one or two teams, I think, out of the Python teams, out of 13 Python teams, only two teams in the last competition made it to the top 10. Okay. So that is and out of those two teams, at least one of the top team was actually from a previous batch that we thought as well. So they were actually very familiar with these techniques that we thought, and they thought themselves, we want to go on and actually implement it in, I think they used TensorFlow at that point in time. That's fine. Okay, so if you already know the techniques very well, but I think in this batch, I think most of you do not, then I would still advise you to use AutoCAD. If you want to use Python, you can, but it's risky because of the bugs that you will introduce into your code that might not cause you to perform so well. But it's really up to you. Okay. The one thing honestly, one thing we're trying to change is the perception that AI or ML is all about programming. It is not. Okay. And AI and ML is really not about TensorFlow or Keras or AutoCAD or anything else like that. It's not. Okay. It is it's much more timeless than all of that stuff. It's all about how do you approach the problem, how do you actually, how do you select the right tools for the job. And that can be in anything that you want. It can be in Java, it can be in Scala, it can be in Python, it can be in Ruby, it can be a lot of different languages. It can be C or C++. Okay. So we want to focus that on those kind of conceptual approach to solving these problems. Okay. All right. That's it for me, guys.
Yeah. Maybe
Any
like
last
just
things?
to
More
scan through
questions?
other questions as well. Uh, Timeline will actually instead of exact timeline, we will actually communicate further through email on Telegram. We'll announce the exact timeline on the submission through email. So you'll cover that. Your team, we don't assign teams. I think you already, those of you who already work as a team, right? I already received your submission form. So basically, if you're already working as a team, as long as you put the team name, then you are by default one team. But if let's say those of you who are, let's say, who who have not yet formed a team and suddenly form a team through a matchmaking platform, or if you add one or two more people, right? Just let me know, DM me, direct message me personally on Telegram, so I can just update the team as well. So yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Maybe just let me check if there's any questions on the YouTube. Uh, Let me just check for a while. Okay, then I think that's about it. So thank you so much for your attention, guys. Like I think hopefully this is informative enough for you to understand why we are doing this, and also like what you expect to gain throughout this experience. If you still have any question, just post it on the mentorship group. We will keep you updated as well on the mentors that will be assigned to you as well. So keep in mind, and the timeline is tight. So I want you to actually start learning watching the videos and experimenting, doing the labs at least. at least lab 1 and lab 2. You need to submit lab 2, not lab 1. So just to bear in mind. With all in that, we'll end the opening session like right now. So good luck,
Good luck, guys.
and yeah, hope to see you again shortly in Telegram.